Hello, and welcome back to the We Don't Wanna podcast. This is a show where two certified dipshits make uncertified takes about your favorite series. We are your hosts. I am Zach, and joining me as always is my co-host. He does need some help understanding the difference between fewer and less. It is Scotty Westside.
I always need help. I'm so glad that Captain Grammar himself, Stannis, is here to help us with the difference between fewer and less.
Yeah, dude.
I love how Stannis cares enough to comment about it, but doesn't care enough to like elaborate or explain. Yeah, it's so funny, dude.
It is
just the look on his face when Dav was just like, "What?" He's just like, "Forget it, dude. Fuck." So funny. I love it. Big fan.
Very, very, very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of this, it's just such a small little like, oh, hey, that's funny. I enjoy that.
Yeah. It's a very good bit that they've dipped into a couple times, and I do love it.
Awesome. I do love dipping my bits.
Oh boy, and there it is, and we're on track, and here we are, and we're off. Yeah, what would this podcast be without that shit in the first minute? You know?
Yep. All for the algorithm, baby.
All for it. Yeah.
How are you doing today, man?
I'm fine. You know, I'm so excited to be here and talk about season 5 of Game of Thrones with you.
I love you, pal.
No, listen, I've just kind of like tired today. It's my day off, and I've just kind of been like not doing anything, but I just feel kind of like it's like all cold and gray outside. It's the winter, so of course it is, but it's just like
it's that seasonal depression.
It's not depression. It's just like I don't want to do anything.
No, it is for me.
I just okay, yeah, for you maybe. I just want to like lay on my couch and watch TV and not engage with anything. But here I am having to engage with
Pretty
you.
sure that's seasonal depression.
Nah. I have that seasonal denial for sure, maybe. But
seasonal tease and denial. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But no, I'm fine. Like realistically, I'm fine. I got nothing to complain about. How are you, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing honestly the same.
Hey, by the way, I meant to ask you about this earlier, but I forgot. Are you wearing like a flower print robe right now, or
it's a cardigan.
Kimono of some kind?
Just a cardigan.
Is it a cardigan?
Yeah. It's just a cardigan.
It looks like it's some kind of sick flower print robe.
Well, would it be cooler if I said it was?
Cardigans are pretty cool too, though.
Yeah.
It's not really like a Mr. Rogers style cardigan though. It's like you're trying.
No, it doesn't have like a rolled.
Yeah, the rolled
collar.
You like
anything,
think you're like cool and fashionable, so you're like.
Yeah,
that's the noise that one makes when they think they're cool and fashionable.
I put my cardigan on and I'm like,
yeah. You put your cardigan on like everyone else, one arm at a time. Except once our cardigan is on, you do this podcast.
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
Man, hey, the winter is just not really fun, you know?
I don't mind it because I like being in this mood a little bit sometimes. I like being just a lazy sack of shit boy.
Spicy little bitch boy, dude.
Yeah. Actually kind of the opposite of spicy, honestly.
Yeah, you are just kind of a downer.
Just kind of like a tame, mild bitch boy, really.
Yeah.
In reality.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you are the worst. Anyway, I'm doing okay though. You know.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I don't really care about how you feel. So.
Well, what else is new?
You know what? Actually, that's not true. This is a safe space. How do you feel?
It's all okay? I'm fine.
Okay. Good. Well, now that we're past that.
Fine. Yeah, you know, we're fine here. We're all fine here.
I do have a little bit of an update for the peeps at home.
Okay.
You and I, of course, have already chatted about this a little bit, but I am plowing through your ass and Water 7 in One Piece.
Rate that ass.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah.
So have you actually watched more since we last talked? By the way, I don't know that plowing through is is the correct way to
You're
describe
probably
this.
right.
It's a very slow and methodical, like fucking like 2 episoes every 3 weeks.
It's
If
like
that's
edging,
your
man.
definition,
It's like
yeah,
edging.
of plowing through. We love edging here on this podcast. Love it. Can't get
On
enough.
a scale of 1 to 10.
10. Rate your J. It doesn't even apply.
Rate the JO. Hashtag rate that JO.
Hashtag rate that JO.
Yeah, so, I am... No, so Sanji's fighting on the train right now.
Okay, sick.
Luffy and Zoro have just been rescued or found or whatever.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure,
So I think I've watched maybe like 2 more episodes since you and I
okay.
talked.
Okay.
So
Zoro, you found Zoro upside down.
Yeah, he was a sea anemone. So
Good
fucking
gag.
dumb, dude.
Chopper's so
Such a
confused.
Dumb gag. Anyway, yeah. For those 4 of you guys who give a shit about One Piece, Scott included. Yeah, man, I'm having such a good time working through Water 7. It is really fantastic.
Because it's like the greatest arc in history of anything.
So
ever.
I keep hearing about, and maybe you can't answer this, but I keep hearing about how Enies Lobby is another great arc, and they are obviously like on their way to Enies Lobby. So like, does Water 7 just go straight into that?
More or less, yes.
So is it all? I mean, it just seems like it's all one arc.
Technically, it depends on who you ask or what have you. I tend to lump them together because they do transition.
I mean, it's all the same story.
Yes, one directly into the other. By most, I feel like One Piece fans would technically separate every time the Straw Hats move to a new like island location.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of how they separate the arcs. So you could separate them. They're kind of just one and the same in my mind.
Yeah,
If
it is all the same thing, though.
Right, it's all the same story. If they're combined, they're the best arc in anime history. If they're separate, then they're 1 and 2. So it doesn't really matter. It's like whatever.
Okay.
So
interesting.
Anyway,
well,
but we're not here to talk about that.
Yeah,
we're here to talk about Game of Thrones. Season 5, Episode 5, the Big 505, Kill That Boy. It's not Kill That Boy, though. It's Kill the Boy. I don't know where that came
one
from.
over there. Kill that one.
Boy, not the boy. That one. That
you see that kid
boy.
with the small mouth that looks like James and the Giant Peach? Kill that one.
What was the James and the Giant Peach thing?
That's Ollie, man. Ollie looks
right.
just like that kid.
Yeah, he definitely does.
I've got to tell you, Scott, as down as we've been on season 5, turning on, like loading up HBO this morning to get this shit started, and watch this episode, I was immediately like, oh, okay, well, hey, this is a good episode. I am excited to watch.
You know what? I had the exact same reaction, Zach. I was like, oh, kill the boy. Hell yeah, this is a great moment. And then that moment happens like at the very beginning of the episode, and then you have to watch the rest of the episode. I'm kidding. It's not.
I don't feel like this episode's bad. I feel like this is a pretty above average episode for season 5.
We'll talk about it. Why don't you hit us with this recap, and we'll get more into it.
For show. All right, so we begin in Marine, where Grey Worm is seriously wounded but alive, and Danny mourns Barristan the Bold. Danny has all of the leaders of Marine's great families be arrested and then takes them down to the catacombs where her 2 dragons are. She has her dragons roast and eat one of the former masters and threatens to do the same to the rest. At the wall, Sam reads messages about Danny to Maester Aemon, who laments that he cannot help his last living relation. John comes in to ask for Maester Aemon's advice, and once again, he proves that he's the goddamn GOAT. He's the GOAT.
He's fucking great.
He is the GOAT, dude.
He is the GOAT.
John says that there's something he feels he must do, but that it will divide the watch and the men will hate him for it. Aemon tells him to kill the boy and do it. John then meets with Tormund and asks him to gather the remaining free folk and bring them south of the wall. John will let them through and give them lands to settle if they help him fight the White Walkers when the time comes. After an intense standoff, Tormund agrees on the condition that Jon come with him to Hardhome to help convince the Free Folk that they mean no harm. Jon announces his plan to the Watch and gets angry pushback from nearly everyone. Jon argues that none of what the wildlings have done matters because the army of the dead is much, much worse. Ollie asks Jon if this is some kind of trick on the wildlings, but Jon tells him no, that they need the wildlings because winter is coming. Brienne and Pod are in a village near Winterfell waiting and watching. Brienne says that Sansa is not safe with the Boltons and asks a random old man to get a message to Sansa. But a lot of trust in random old guy here.
Yeah.
A random old lady tells Sansa that she still has friends in the north and that if she's ever in trouble, to light a candle in the broken tower. Spoiler alert, she's currently in trouble.
She's currently in trouble. That girl Miranda, you know that one. That one Miranda.
That one girl who I always feel is so hot, but she's also like skin and bones.
Yes, she's also a psychopath.
Yeah.
She's real jealous of Sansa marrying Ramsay and takes her to see Theon in the kennels. So then Ramsay uses Theon to torment Sansa at supper. Ramsay is very pleased with himself, so Roose knocks him down a peg by telling them that his wife is having a baby boy. Ramsay obviously feels very threatened by the possibility of a true-born heir and throws a bit of a tantrum, Zach. Roose cunningly gets Ramsay back on his side so he can help defeat Stannis. Back at the Wall, Stannis asks Sam the Slayer about killing a White Walker. Sam tells him about the dragon glass, and Stannis says they have much of it on Dragonstone. Stannis tells Sam to keep reading and researching because death is marching on the Wall. Stannis decides it's time to march on Winterfell and that Queen Selyse and Shireen are coming with them. In Meereen, Grey Worm awakes and has a sweet moment with Missandei, and then they kiss. She kisses him. Meanwhile, Daenerys is torn because Ser Barristan counseled mercy up until he died, while Daario is counseling to slaughter all the former masters. She asks Missandei what to do, and Missandei is basically like, I don't know. Don't you have any bright ideas that no one else has thought of? So Daenerys is like, sure, I got you. And then goes and tells that dude whose name I can't remember right now that she'll reopen the fighting pits. Oh, and also marry him. Boy, did I really phone in writing this recap this week. Tyrion and Jorah continue their little boat ride and have reached the Smoking Sea and the ruins of Old Valyria. Tyrion turns into Captain World-Building Exposition Man for a bit. Then they watch and wonder as big-ass Drogon flies overhead. Suddenly, a group of stone men attack their boat, and Tyrion falls in the water. Jorah saves him and asks if the stone men managed to touch him. Tyrion says no, and Jorah as well, but we see Jorah hiding a bit of grayscale on his arm. And that is 505. Kill that boy. Kill that there boy.
Kill that there boy.
Kill that there boy.
Listen here, boy.
Listen here, boy. Let the boy watch.
He needs to learn.
Here's the thing. And this, I feel like I've said this several times this season, and it continues to remain to be true. The Wall stuff is just hard carrying this season.
Hard home carrying the season, absolutely.
Hard home will continue to carry, and all the Wall stuff just it's mostly very good and very interesting. The rest of this episode, I'm just like, I'm struggling so hard to carry.
I don't dislike the Winterfell stuff. I'm surprised you didn't in your recap write anything about Theon. Like Sansa having I guess
a moment,
like actually like being reunited with Theon and seeing like what state he's in.
I mean, I definitely didn't phone in writing this recap at all. So yeah, it definitely, didn't need to be in there. That's for sure. No, I mean, we'll talk about it. Well,
we're talking about it now.
Okay, fine. You want to just talk about the Winterfell stuff right now?
Sure.
The Winterfell stuff is fine. That being said, it's hard to look on it favorably when Theon's POV chapters, which is how we see Winterfell in the books, are so fucking cool and interesting, and none of that is in the show.
You're doing it again.
I know I'm doing it again.
You are the worst.
That's why I didn't say it specifically this time, because I just knew I was doing it again. The whole Northern conspiracy and the Manderleys and the fucking killings, it's all so cool and interesting, and they're just like, yeah, we're not putting any of that in the show.
I feel like we need to, once we finish our television show recap.
I know.
We should do like a couple of like, man, they really missed the opportunity to do this in the books.
Well,
like
I do that plenty of times.
Well, right, but so that way it can be kind of consolidated, right? Like
sure.
And then you can actually have a pedestal to be I'm
always pedestaling.
Yeah, I just need to kick it out from under you most of the time, though.
Truly, it's just a wasted opportunity, and I just can't help but let it upset me a little bit. And it's like I did enjoy the scenes between like Roose and Ramsay.
Yeah,
because Roose continues.
Interesting.
Yeah, Roose is a cool, interesting character, and he plays Ramsay like an absolute fiddle here. But the whole Ramsay, Sansa, Theon just dynamic, I'm just like, okay, whatever, fine. I know you love Sansa. I think you're probably more on board with Theon's stuff than I am. And Ramsay is just...
I'm not going to let the fact that this is not exactly how it happened in the book deter from the fact that I still think it's good.
Well, no, and that's not even part of this particular one I'm talking about. It's just like the Theon stuff, I've never cared about or liked Theon. Like,
sure.
Ever. And Ramsay is just he's just like pure evil force chaos that is just like, it's hard to care about any character there or find him interesting, because it's just like whatever the shittiest thing to do in any given moment is what he's gonna do.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's so that you actually are kind of taking something from what I wanted to talk about with Ramsay in particular, is that like in any fiction, when the bad guy is bad just for the sake of being bad,
yes,
they're just not interesting.
Right,
there's no like morality, and there's no like realness,
substance. There's a lack of substance.
Yeah. I think that's a good way to say it. And I definitely feel that with Ramsay.
Yes.
Like I don't find him a compelling character, and that's not why I enjoy this stuff. But I enjoy this stuff because, regardless of what he is or isn't, he causes a lot of chaos, and we're seeing characters that we have mild interest in grapple with and deal with it. Like I do
That's
enjoy Sansa.
Take.
I know I enjoy Theon more than you do. I'm not a Theon like stan by any means, but I do think it's interesting. Like I do think it's fucked up to see him in this position. It's fucked up to see this like him and Sansa getting reconnected in this way. And it's fucked up to see this power dynamic that Ramsay has over Theon, and see Sansa watch it unfold and realize like how bad it is. I just like that dynamic a lot. I think it's really good on screen. I think they all do a very good job and like good performance, especially there at like at the dinner table. I like that scene a lot.
The dinner scene is very good. Like I'm complaining about this episode a lot already, but like the dinner scene is totally fine. The performances are good. Like what's happening there is relatively interesting. I just don't have a big dog, in that room, like in that fight. Like I don't like Sansa as much as you. I don't like Theon. I don't like Ramsay. Roose is interesting. And I do like, how he's like, oh, Ramsay's getting a little big for his britches right now. I'm gonna drop this bomb on him, and then how he turns it around on Ramsay, like when Ramsay is obviously like very concerned about his position, and
I will say this too. I think this is the first time I'm like acknowledging this. I'm just like thinking through it as we're talking here. Aside from like a connection to any of these characters, and I feel like this will probably ring true for a lot of watchers out there of Game of Thrones, there's a huge connection just to the North in general.
True.
And that, yes. I think that may be even a deeper connection than any of the individual characters we're seeing here. And
or just, even to Winterfell itself.
Yeah, exactly.
Like as a character almost.
Exactly. And so like I think that is what is compelling about this is like people are invested in what happens to Winterfell.
Yeah. No, that's true. That's
so
true.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good way to look at it. And I've always cared about this, but until you and I are talking about it, I've never realized like that's what it is. But I think that's what it is.
That's a really good take, and I do appreciate that because, like you said, people do care about Winterfell itself and what is going to happen to the North. People are very attached to the North.
Yeah. There's just such a deep sense of like loyalty and commitment to the North as a whole, I think, in this show and in this series.
Yeah, and you see it with like the Northern people as well. Like I joked in the recap about the random old dude and the random old lady. Like, it's a little bit plot contrivance and convenience, but it's like also like these people are still loyal to like the Starks,
right?
In theory, a lot of them are anyway. So that kind of loyalty is very, very cool. It's just me anytime as a show watcher, as a reader, as an enjoyer of media, if I don't have a strong connection with characters in any given moment, I'm just like, I'm not as interested. Like characters are always number one for me. And none of these particular characters I care about that much. It's like a medium amount,
Sure.
But the content is good, to your point. The scene is, especially the dinner scene, is still very good.
Yeah. Anything
what do you
else
want to hit next?
in the North?
I don't have anything else now. Well, not obviously we need to talk about the Wall, but not the North yet.
Okay.
You want to go Marine next?
Yeah, sure.
So obviously we talked about it a little bit last episode, but fully confirmed here. Barristan Selmy, our dude, yes, Barristan the Bold has died. What a legend.
Yeah, truly. I don't think that. I mean, like a lot of show watchers out there, you fucking normies out there. No, I'm joking. But
loves the normies.
I just feel like this show doesn't give us enough of like the fact that this man is truly a legend.
Yes.
And that does suck because it's like, his death does impact the people around him, and we see them deal with that, but that is nowhere close to the magnitude like of the reaction I think that would happen if anybody from the Seven Kingdoms heard that Barristan the Bold had been killed in combat. Like he is truly a living legend. And if you are listening to the show or watching the show, and you don't fully understand that, like this is arguably a top 5 swordsman ever in the history of Westeros. Like ever.
If I recall correctly, like he was given that like nickname, that epithet, like it was like at the age of like 10 or 12 because he secretly entered a tournament as like a mystery knight, and I think he nearly won it. I don't think he won it, but yeah, like he's carried that moniker Barristan the Bold like for like 60 years or something ridiculous like that, like the man is literally a living legend. He did things that like no one could have done, like when he rescued the king at Duskendale, I want to say. Like it's difficult without all the context that that the books can provide without just going into heavy exposition. But yes, he was a legend. You hear even Tywin say it, like dismissing Barristan was very foolish.
Yeah.
And like you just don't throw away an amazing, legendary knight like that, like the Lannister or like Cersei and Joffrey did. So sad to see him go here because he was a really cool character for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I wish we got more of him, and I wish that we like just got to see or hear more of like the greatness in the show, at least, so that more people could fully realize, you know, what an impact this guy was.
And the parts we did get on it was like so long ago. Like I think about Jamie and his conversation when they're like telling war stories. That was like episode like 4 or 5. Like that was so long ago. So it's like a lot of people might not even remember Jamie, who we know is a great warrior, basically like saying Barris that like you were the greatest swordsman I ever saw type of thing. So
yes,
it's crazy. But Grey Worm, at least he's alive. Him and Missandei.
My boy is spitting some game from a hospital bed.
Truly,
what a fucking legend.
Fucking that is some good ass shit. How he turns his mortal wound into like, yeah, get in bed with me and kiss me, type shit.
Dude, straight up, this guy. Okay, so he's like, I'm ashamed, and she's like, you have nothing to be ashamed of. And he's like, I'm not ashamed that like I got hurt,
right? Or like, that I almost died, or what?
Yeah, and she's like, well, then what are you ashamed of? He's like, I'm ashamed that I would never, or that I was afraid to never see your face again, or some.
Oh man!
And she's like soaking wet at that point.
Instantly,
dude,
just like
instant, dude.
That floor.
She
there
came
was
out
a
of a
flood
sauna,
in there. Yeah, I mean, good on Grey Worm, making progress with Missandei. They're such an adorable little couple. They're so sweet. I mean, love them.
If I could just cut out the Grey Worm and just look at Missandei all day, I definitely would.
That's what Zach definitely wants.
Yes.
Let's talk about Dany. She be doing that thing that she does where she just roasts people and threatens to roast a bunch of more people and be totally stable while doing so.
Yeah. She's really leading into this whole Mad King / Queen look here.
Yeah.
The way her eyes light up when he's getting burned. Like,
speaking of coming out of the sauna and floods, like the look on her face says when that dude is getting burned, she's like, oh.
She is soaking wet, dude. She could put out that fire.
Yeah. She could.
Oh man. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Daenerys is a fucking psycho bitch. In case you guys haven't realized.
No, but it's fine because then later in the episode, she's like torn about it and she's very, conflicted and she's like, I don't know what to do and this and that.
Yeah.
And, no, you're still
it's
crazy.
Like, have you ever been in a relationship with somebody who's like, yeah, I cheated on you, but I felt bad about it?
No, thankfully. But I know the vibe you're going for. Sure.
I mean, I don't know what that's like either. I'm just saying.
Okay, good. I'm glad. That sounds shitty. I wouldn't want you to be there.
It do sound shitty, eh?
But yeah, no. And then she's just like, "Let me ask Missandei," and I kind of appreciate the reason where she's coming from is that Missandei is a former slave, and Dany is like trying to do good by the former slaves,
right?
But also Missandei is just like, dude, I don't fucking know. Like, I've seen you. Yeah, I don't do this. I've seen you listen to your counselors and I've seen you ignore them because you sometimes saw a better way. Can you see a better way? And it's just like,
you know what I think is very funny is that it's and you kind of made nod to this in your recap. It's framed in a way from Missandei that's like, sometimes you see something that other people can't see.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have a better sense of judgment of these
right
positions, right? And Dany's like, you know what? You're right. And you know what she does? She does something that is not her own idea. She does something that has already been suggested to her and reopens the fighting pits. Now,
reopens the fighting pits.
Now, the marriage thing, I do think, credit where it's due. If her goal is to secure Meereen, which it has not been, so I don't love this. I don't love the whole Meereen thing. But if her priorities have shifted to securing Meereen first, she's politicking. I mean, marriage is a great way to do this. So good for her.
Yes.
Maybe not to this guy,
but also this is just a terrible idea because Marine is not. This is not her end game.
I
and
agree.
If Barristan was still around, he would tell her this.
What are we doing?
You're gonna need to marry someone in Westeros. Hey, remember Westeros? That place, the Iron Throne, that thing you're always talking about is yours by right. You're probably gonna need a marriage alliance there, because that's the end game. This right here, this now is a terrible idea. Mm-hmm. But Barristan's not around to tell.
Yeah, I just like that she's thinking with a politic brain,
sure,
rather than a burn people brain. That's what I'm.
That is at least fair. Yes, for sure. Anything else?
That is truly about. Well, let's pivot here to Jorah Tyrion.
Oh, sure.
Since they're kind of in the east as well.
Okay, I do like this.
Yeah, I really like this.
Mostly because of just how beautiful it looks. Like just getting to see like the ruins of Valyria and just like the smoking sea.
I'm so interested in it, man. Like
I know.
I don't. We've said this a million times. I don't really give a shit about like the Targaryens and their history, and like, you know, House of the Dragon has showed me that can be changed if it's presented to me in like a really good format, which House of the Dragon was.
Or if we actually get cool Targaryen.
But yeah, that's a big part of it.
That's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Hey, Aemon, Maester Aemon, brother.
Yeah, Maester Aemon's rocking and rolling, man.
A+ number one.
A+ number one, super ultra mega, dude.
For reals. Truly.
And like, I guess, although I've never been interested in like them or their history, like seeing something like this that has the potential to just be so grand and so beautiful and so like mystic and like in a sense of just like ooh, like what does this place hold? Like how does this place run? You know, what did it look like?
Yeah,
I would love to be back in old Valyria in like a show or in some format. It doesn't have to be a show.
Sure.
To just give us that experience.
It's an extremely common trope, but I somehow am always interested in and never get tired of the whole like
more advanced old civilization.
Precursor, like super advanced, just now destroyed civilization.
Oh yeah,
thing like that shit is in literally everything ever, and I still love it.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I just want to know about them and like hear about them, and like it's just I don't know what it is about it, but I'm always interested in it, and this one is no exception. I love how it's been talked about a billion times, usually from Daenerys herself, in this show about fire cannot kill a dragon. Fire cannot kill a dragon. And then here we are, Tyrion telling us about the doom happening, and the fire went so high and so hot that, yeah, even dragons burned. And I'm just like, that's cool as hell. That is cool. So metal. That's fucking so cool. Metal as fuck.
So we're to understand. I mean, look, I'm not as big of a history lore buff as you are with, you know, A Song of Ice and Fire, but like we're to understand that like the doom is a volcano, right?
Well, many volcanoes.
Oh, okay.
Many volcanoes, yes.
That went off at once?
Correct. There's a lot of like theories, speculation is that you know, they were using magical energies to perhaps like harness like the powers of these like volcanoes,
and they overdid
like as like maybe a power source, or you know, they were using them to maybe forge Valyrian steel, and yeah, kind of I get a similar vibe from my understanding as like the Lord of the Rings thing. Oh, like the dwarves delved too greedily and too deep and woke up the Balrog. And this is kind of a similar situation, is that they got a little complacent and overconfident with the crazy power of these volcanoes. And yeah, the volcanoes
seems interesting to me that
them.
Such an advanced civilization would be like, yeah, let's just set everything up next to these volcanoes that could kill us.
Well, that's the thing. I think, like I said, I think that's that was a part of their civilization
Of why they were
being so
I guess
great.
that's
Yeah.
fair.
And so advanced was
Right.
they were harvesting, or why do I just keep saying harvesting? Harnessing the power of these volcanoes in some way, whether through magic means or, geothermal power. I don't know. I'm not a volcano expert. I wish I was. They're cool.
Okay, all right. There's a hot take from Scotty
Yeah.
Westside.
Oh, hot as magma, baby.
Magma. Liquid hot magma.
But yes, this bit is just cool. Like, it looks cool. Like, just kind of the foggy rundown.
I wanna know more about Yee.
Oh yeah, same.
Oh, dude,
Big
Yee
same.
seems like it would be so rad. Like, very, like, Asian influence, right?
Yeah, like ancient China. It's
Oh,
very
yeah,
heavily
dude.
influenced. Yeah.
It looks fucking
No one
sick.
knows what Yee is. That you just brought it up out of nowhere.
I know. We're talking about all this cool, like, old, like, ESO stuff, and I want to know more about Yee.
Essos is legit cool. And we see usually the lamest parts of it, honestly.
Yeah,
we
don't
get to see a Shy by the Shadow.
We see the Dothraki Sea.
Yeah, we see a whole fucking lot of the goddamn Dothraki
We see a lot of
Sea.
grass and dirt.
Anyway,
That's a whole thing.
Drogon flying overhead. That is a super
Drogon,
cool scene.
for sure.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely
It's not like
cool.
some like unaccounted for dragon that's just roaming.
That's Drogon's fat ass. Really cool shot. Just like the overhead of Jorah and Tyrion's faces as they just kind of stare in wonder.
And Tyrion specifically, like
Yes, for
him
sure.
realizing like, oh, like this is real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
It's
look at
cool.
that dragon's fat ass. Just a cool scene. And then the Stonemen attack, and it's, it's fine. It's whatever. But mostly the lead up into it is my favorite part of the scene.
Sure.
But yeah, Jorah having grayscale, not great.
That's not good.
That's not ideal situation.
Yeah. I don't
for
give
him.
a shit about Gora.
Gora.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about Jorah, but that's not great.
Hey, unnecessary shot by Tyrion, by the way, when he's like, sullen silences followed by punching in the face, the Mormont way. And I'm like, dude, Jor Mormont, Lord Commander Mormont was like very cool and decent to you, first of all. So
Yeah.
How dare you, dick?
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, Tyrion's just a little fucker this
Yeah, he is
season.
a little fucker.
Pun intended, but
He will not shut up about the fucking wine, and it's driving me
Yeah.
crazy, dude.
yeah, he's pretty insufferable this season.
Yeah, truly. You know what? As he should be, honestly.
Hey, why don't
Anyway,
we get the heck out of Essos, yeah?
Why don't we get to the fucking wall?
Yeah,
Because I think that's our last thing. Yeah.
I think that is our last
think that's
thing.
our last
yes,
thing.
it's our last thing.
The kill the boy scene.
Boy.
Is so good. Kill that there boy, Jon Snow.
That there boy. Yeah,
that
I
there
really
boy.
I really love this, man, cuz like there's just something so good about like Jon walking in wanting counsel,
Mhm.
but Aemon immediately recognizing that he's not asking for advice, he's asking for permission. You know, like he already knows what he wants to do and
Right.
what he thinks needs to be done. He just wants to be validated.
Yes, he's coming in almost looking for advice about this specific situation, and Maester Aemon, because he's the goddamn goat, is instead is just like, no, I'm not even gonna talk to you about that. Let me just give you some fucking sick life advice. Because I'm awesome. I don't even care
Sponsored
what that
by
is.
Nike.
Truly, just do it.
Just do it.
God, he's just like, it doesn't matter what it is. You know what it is.
Yeah.
Kill the boy. Do it.
Yeah.
It's so fucking good. I love that. We've talked about him before, but that actor whose name I should know, but I don't.
Yeah.
Just kills it. He's so good.
Who
I even feel
plays?
bad for him when he's talking about, like, you know, how he can't help Daenerys.
Peter
and
Vaughn.
He feels, yes, Peter Vaughn, that's right. How he feels, you know, like like he should be there to help her, but he's just an old man, dying at the edge of the world, and it's just like, oh, I don't like Daenerys, but you still make me sad even about her.
It also breaks my heart when Jon is like, "How are you?" And he's like, "Man, I'm a old man, like freezing to death."
Yeah.
Dude.
But he's like so cheerful about it. Even Jon like smiles like after he says that.
Yeah, truly.
He's great.
So he says the actual quote, just simply because it's great, is "Kill the boy, Jon Snow. Winter is almost upon us. Kill the boy and let the man be born."
Mm-hmm.
And boy, does that just resonate. I feel like, I mean, it's just what Jon needed to hear, really.
Yes.
Like, whether his decisions lead to, progress or not, to good or to bad, it's definitely what Jon needed to hear, because he's been, I mean, he was just thrust into this position without any guidance, without, I mean, he's sure of himself in a lot of ways, but this is just a whole new level of, I think, just like experience for him, that he needed that.
And Aemon even like expresses to him and makes him understand that, like, yeah, the men aren't going to like you. Like, this isn't like, if you're looking for popularity, that's wrong.
He's like, half the men hate you already. Do it.
And he even tells him, like, you will find no joy in this command, but you're the only one who can do it, basically, more or less. It's a fucking phenomenal scene. And then I also love the scene between Jon and Tormund.
Yes.
Just another great scene. The way, I really had an appreciation of the way this scene was like shot and framed. Like it was
the
very
height
just
differences.
Basic. Yes, that one is one that came to mind. It's just kind of shot, reverse shot, like more basic stuff, but like they're so close and there's like such intensity like between the two of them.
Yeah.
It works. It worked for me a lot. It worked very well. Like, especially when, he stands up and is like easy to say when you're in chains, or to a man in chains, and Jon just refuses to be intimidated and just
unshackles him
and just stares him in the eye. Just this exchange between them is
it's very good. Yeah. It's a pissing contest without with just very few words and mostly just faces, like just looks. Yeah, it's good.
But Tormund is on board with this plan as long as Jon comes with him, which he has some valid points where it's like,
my people need to know that they're not going to be like sailing to their death, basically.
Exactly. Like if this is what you want and you're the Lord Commander, you're going to have to tell them. Speaking of which, I have to call out this line because it's great. When Jon tells Tormund, basically, like, for 8,000 years, we've sworn to guard the realms of men, and for 8,000 years, we've failed. And he's like, you're part of the realms of men. We need to protect you as well. And Tormund just says, oh, suddenly things are all going to change. And Jon says, yeah, it is. And Tormund's basically like, why? And Jon just says, because now, or no, he says, why now? And Jon just says, because now I am Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. Showing us that he took to heart what Maester Aemon told him. He's like, yeah, I'm in charge. I don't care about 8,000 years of the past. I'm Lord Commander now, and this is what I'm fucking doing. And I'm like, fuck yes, Jon.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many people out there, I feel like, that say things about Jon being boring, which I can see in the sense that he's like relatively like stationary for a lot of the show.
I mean, yes, he's at the wall for 95% of it.
But I don't know. I guess it really just baffles me how somebody doesn't find like interest or even just attraction to like that type of character with like that type of heart and I don't know, man. I just the leader who doesn't ask to be the leader is like one of my favorite tropes. Like
it's a good one.
I love that. I love that character. And so
also,
Jon is exactly that.
I can sympathize with that point of view maybe like in the earlier seasons, but like from like 4 on, like everything that's happening at the wall, everything that's happening with Jon is like so good and interesting. No, even before that, honestly, like 3 on, I think. Anyway, doesn't matter. It's great now. Let's see here.
So we got the stuff with Stannis next, I believe, and then that's.
Well, there's the obviously no one in the Night's Watch.
Right.
Even his buddy Ed is on board with this plan. Sam's kind of his only defender, so that's not great.
You know what? Sometimes, like, this is a very particular.
I can't wait.
The frustration.
To hear this.
No, it's not ridiculous, really. It's just very particular. Like, I feel like oftentimes, like. I feel like
oftentimes when I eat something, I drink something too.
I wonder how many of you guys will get that reference.
Amanda,
Probably.
literally just
Amanda. Well, hey, I think Heather, Amanda's sister, my sister-in-law, listens, and whatever. So when I hear people trying to like frame an idea or like present an idea and not fully explain why it's a good idea.
Oh,
it fucking destroys me.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I'm like, just explain it like this.
Yeah.
You know?
That happens all the time in movies and TV.
Dude.
By the way. Yes. I know exactly what you were talking about.
I feel like I have a pretty good way of like.
Just explain it.
Yeah, I have a pretty good way of like articulating things and like framing them in a way of like, okay, like you see the point? Like you get it?
Yes,
We're on the same page now? Okay, great. And man, when that falls short in situations that are as like big of a decision as this, it's like, come on, Jon, just explain it well.
I mean, he tries. It kind of does. He basically says, hey, no matter what the wildlings have done or what they are, they're better than the fucking army of the dead that's breathing down our necks.
It's because most television and film dialogue is written in hard-hitting one-liners. It's not written in a full-ass, like, let me give you an explanation, you know? Like,
True.
So I understand, trust me, I get it. But dude, does that grind my fucking gears, man?
I love the fact that you use the phrase grind my gears.
That's grinding my gears, pal.
Grind my gears, underrated line. But yeah, I shouts to Ed for bringing up Pip and Gren, R.I.P. to those legends. But
truly,
yeah, nobody's really, aside from Sam, a fan of this plan. But Jon's doing what he feels is best and what he feels is right, and good on him for doing so. And yeah, we do get grammar Captain Stannis himself with the fewer bit, which is always funny. So yeah, then. Well, we got the Stannis and Sam scene, which is very brief, but I do like because Stannis starts by like roasting him about how like your father's like a great soldier.
Like, you don't
what
look
the
like
fuck
a
happened to
fucking-
you?
Yeah.
Yeah, he literally says you don't look like a fucking soldier. But then very quickly he changes to kind of an understanding of Sam.
Mhm.
You know, he gets this information for Sam, and you know, Sam is doing this research, and he tells him, "Hey, keep reading, Samuel Tarly." So I appreciate that.
Yeah, I actually have note of this scene too, even though it's so quick. My note says, despite Stannis being a shithead, he is one of the only ones that is taking the army of the dead seriously.
Yes, for sure. One of the few.
One of the very few, at least other than like Jon.
Sam, Jon.
Like Sam
yeah.
and Jon. And Melisandre, obviously, but
he's the only realm leader, if you will.
Yeah.
That's taking it seriously.
And so, yeah, I just like you, man, I appreciated that. And I was like, Sam, you're a fucking baller. I love the just like maybe innocence or like genuineness that Sam displays when Stannis is like, how did you kill?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, with dragonglass, man.
Yeah.
And he's like, why did that work? And Sam's like, I have no idea.
Right.
Like, I am trying to figure it out, but I have no idea.
Yeah.
Stannis is like, all right, fair. Okay. Like, you can tell in that moment that Stannis knows this guy is not lying to me.
Right. 100%. He believes him.
Yes.
And he's like, hey, keep researching because we kind of need all the help we can get.
Right. Yeah.
It's a good, very good small scene.
Yeah.
Then I guess it's just like Stannis tells Davos, like, mount up. We're fucking out of here. Shireen and Selyse are coming with us. And that's kind of that. They, Jon and Stannis have one final little moment where, Jon kind of thanks him for like the boats and all this stuff, and obviously saving his ass.
Yeah.
At the Battle of the Wall. Wishes him luck, and Stannis is on the march. Is there anything we missed up there at the wall?
No. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. This is the turn of getting these fuckers, or the attempt to try and get the Boltons out of Winterfell. I mean, this is where, Stannis is heading out. So there's a lot to look forward to story wise. I feel like at this point in the season, because now we've finally set up the fact, like, all right, there's been this like.
This is a very setup heavy episode.
Yes, and in a good way, because
mostly
there's so much. There's a lot of times where episodes are like, oh well, it's all set up. You just got to get through this one. You got to get to the next one. You got to, But I feel like this one gives us a lot to look forward to. Like Jon going to Hardhome, I think is very exciting.
Yes.
Stannis marching on Winterfell. Again, I have that attraction to Winterfell, and I'm very excited for that. And not like super excited about the stuff in Essos, but I am very, like, I know especially the first time watching was very, very interested to see, like, all right, what the fuck is going to happen once Jorah and Tyrion get to Daenerys?
Sure.
I loved the Valyria stuff, although that's not really set up. But yeah, I just feel like it's finally giving us some things to look forward to.
Yeah, talking through this episode here with you, I think I made a bigger deal about. I think it's probably better than I gave it credit for at the start. It's fine. It's totally adequate. It has some really phenomenal.
I'm gonna call it at that. I'm gonna just retire now.
Fuck off. It has a couple really great scenes and sequences, and the rest is fine. Like we said, heavy setup episode.
Right.
Speaking of setup, let me get set up on our final segment.
You gonna pull up the
here.
Fucking table on accident again?
Fucking hope not. God damn
it, dude. You are the
It's
worst.
time for Who Be Thrown In. This is our segment where we rank. We really did put Mace.
In
I
memoriam.
totally forgot about that.
So funny.
This is the segment where we rank our top 5 fuckers of the episode. You know what this is. Last time where we last left off, Bronn had claimed the number 1 spot. I think that was his first one. The High Sparrow at 2, Barristan Selmy at 3, Jaime Lannister at 4, and
we had a hard time last week.
I think we did, yeah. Not a great episode. And Melisandre at 5. Mace took on what's his name's role?
Sir Pounce's role.
Sir Pounce, yes, thank you. I'm gonna pull Mace down because he's not in this episode, and I also miss seeing Sir Pounce. So I'm gonna start with that.
Okay.
None of these other, Melisandre's in this episode extremely briefly. We see her once, but none of these other fuckers are even in this episode.
I mean, Barristan's in the episode. He's on a table.
He's lying on a table dead. R.I.P. my guy. So everyone can come down, and I don't know about you, but I have a few thoughts on who should probably go up. Zach, why don't you hit us with a hot one who should be on this list?
Okay, well, I definitely feel like Jon and Aemon should be on this list.
Yeah, those are the two. That's the free space on the bingo cards.
Yeah,
is Jon and Aemon for this episode
for sure.
Let me see. Aemon, and Jon. Oh, there's so many people on this freaking thing at this point. So there's Jon. There's Aemon.
I do think that in a very weird kind of roundabout way, I do think that Sansa should be in the conversation.
Interesting.
I feel that she's learned that she has friends in the North that are trying to look out for her. And I feel like that does help her position. I mean, it doesn't It doesn't directly affect the trouble that she is in right now, but I do think that that's a very good development for her.
Okay.
Um,
I can see it. I'm not against it. She is, like I said, currently in a lot of trouble. A very bad position still, though.
God, dude, is that a season 2 picture of Sansa?
Probably. I probably need to update
You need to
that.
update that shit.
The one I wanted to bring up is Stannis. I think Stannis low-key has a very solid all the way around episode.
I wouldn't argue that at all. I think that's a pretty good take.
The other one I was thinking of that I just forgot, not gonna lie, as I look through my list here. Oh, Jorah. Do we want to consider Jorah or... I mean, Jorah saves Tyrion's life.
Jorah catches Grayscale, my guy.
True. Loses
his boat.
Solid point.
Like,
He loses his boat. He did save Tyrion's life, though, and they had a sick little moment, like reciting their poem on the boat.
I mean, you could throw him on the maybes list, but I don't think I like that.
Don't think I can find him, so maybe that will eliminate him right out of hand. What about your boy Grey Worm getting a little kissy keys?
I mean, just because he kissed Missandei, maybe. Maybe. What if? Okay, do we think that either? Let's run through this really quick. Do we think that either Roose or Ramsay makes a list?
Ooh, that's a good Roose. I could definitely see Roose. Roose has a baby on the way. He manipulates the absolute shit out of Ramsay.
He has intel on Stannis marching on him.
Yeah. I can definitely see Roose.
Okay. I would agree with that. I think Roose is a good pick here.
Boy, who else was I fucking thinking? Not Dany, right? Do we want to consider Dany?
I mean, she did admit her wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I do agree with her decision to reopen the fighting pits.
She burned the hell out of a dude.
She did.
Ooh. What about Tormund?
That's not a bad pick either, honestly.
I don't think Sansa's gonna make it, dude.
Okay. I mean, that's okay. She was in the conversation.
She was in the conversation. I'm gonna go ahead and take. Did I just no? Sir Pounce, you stay. Sansa, you go. How many do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I think. Let me run through this one more time. Is there anyone else?
I don't think.
Do you like Ramsay as well, or just Roose?
I think I just like Roose.
Okay. I think I agree. Okay, let's start getting some of these up here and we can eliminate the last one. Jon and Aemon are 1 and 2, yeah?
I believe so. And I think it's in that order. I think it's Jon first, Aemon second.
I think I agree with you. I really want Aemon to be 1.
I mean, he
Jon
just had such a... Aemon does have such a great showing in his scene.
Jon does more.
And because of what Aemon does, Jon is like more impacted and running with it. I just think that Jon has leveled up.
I think you're right.
Like he's trying to like pick what he wants to level up on his skill tree here. Like he has some points to spend now.
He just unlocked like the big one. You know how like every once in a while there's like a big new upgrade. He just got that one big time. I think that's correct. Aemon's scene was incredible, but Jon had multiple incredible scenes, so I think I'm fine with that. Jon and Aemon is 1 and 2. Then I would probably go Roose or Stannis.
Can I actually? You know what? I hadn't thought about this until you mentioned it, but I think I'm gonna piggyback on your about bringing up Tormund. I want to consider Tormund for 3, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Like not just for him as him himself, but what he represents is is freedom and
Sure.
safety for all of the wildlings. I think that's huge. That's a huge development for him.
He also, I feel
And
like,
it seems
presents
great.
himself very well in that meeting. Like, he doesn't just back down. He's a prisoner, but he's still, fighting and like, being a strong person of like leadership for the free folk, but he's also not unreasonable.
Yeah.
Like when John brings up these things, he realizes this is how I can save my people. This is what's going to be the best for us. He what does he say? Something about like, my people will tear my guts out from me and make me eat them if I ever allied with a crow. And then,
he hears
John's
reason.
like, he hears reason and he abides by it.
This is a man that has just gone from being a prisoner to being potentially the leader of the free folk and striking a deal with the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch to bring about safety to all of his people. I think he's number 3 here.
I wasn't fully on board with it, but once we talked it out, I think you're right. That's a big win for Tormund, and like I said, I think I appreciate the most is that he was willing to see reason.
Yes,
because Tormund does not normally seem like the type of guy who reason is one of his strongest suits. It's got to be Roose. I think it's Roose and Stannis. Then I think Dany's Gonzo.
I think I agree with that. Yeah.
Okay. What order are you thinking for these two?
Oh man, I think I do think it would be Roose over Stannis. I think that Roose one has a better position, like thronen wise, currently. He's aware.
Roose does, you think?
Yeah, I mean he's sitting in Winterfell, my guy.
Yes, but I mean Stannis talks about how they have a bigger army, they have more horse, all of that. Like, obviously, Roose has the advantage of being the defender, at a fortress like Winterfell. I don't know. I think it could be a toss-up between those two. But if you think Roose 4, I'll back you on it.
I just don't know that. I feel like Stannis' position is he's feeling forced to go because Winter's there. Like
You're not wrong.
Like, and I feel like he knows. Like, yes, we have more men, but like that doesn't mean it's going to be an easy win, and we kind of just have to go now.
You're not totally wrong, and I think my main what I was feeling was mostly on the strength of I think that Sam and Stannis scene where I thought he was more reasonable than Stannis usually is.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with that.
Okay.
I'm fine with putting Stannis at 5 and good old Roosey boy at 4.
Okay.
I think that's a solid list. Oh, we got all Northerners. Well, Stannis isn't a Northerner, but he's currently in the North. So that's this week's edition of Who Be
I don't
Thrown.
feel bad about this list. I think this is a good
I don't
list.
feel bad about this list at all. This is a great list. John retaking the number 1 spot. I believe he's been there several times this season. Maester Aemon with just a fucking amazing ass scene. Are we nominating that scene for the Kill the Boy scene for the thingy?
Ooh.
For the greatest scenes list, which I've totally, definitely been keeping track of and am not lying completely right now.
I hate you so much. Yes, I think we nominate
Okay,
that scene.
yeah, let's definitely put that in the hopper, the bin of all those scenes that I definitely remember and we have talked about. Maester Aemon at number 2, Tormund Giantsbane, our fucking guy at 3, Roose Bolton at 4, and Stannis Baratheon at 5, and Sir Pounce always and forever in our hearts. That is gonna be do it.
That is gonna be do it.
Zachy boy, do the thing that we do.
Yeah, so
sometimes.
Let me give the plug here. I can't remember if the last time I mentioned, like last episode, if I mentioned this, all of our socials were up, but I did mention in the past couple episodes that Sam from Harry Potter and the Half Drunk Podcast and I are launching a spin-off podcast called the Death Wish Podcast. Our socials are now up and active. You can find us at DeathWishPod on Twitter and Instagram. And we will be recording very shortly, so sometime in the next first 2-ish months of the year, before springtime, I think is kind of what we're going for.
Sometime the next first 2-ish,
possibly springtime. I don't know. It could be the next year. I don't know. Listen,
you just gave like 16 qualifiers in one sentence.
Listen. We're recording soon. We've got some fun stuff planned. It's gonna be a good time. We're gonna be drinking some bourbon and talking some bullshit. And we will probably have some very frequent regular guests with Scotty and Emily. I'm sure. I'm just voluntolding Scott that's probably going to be a thing.
Just did. Yeah.
Go follow us so that you guys can stay up to date on when those episodes will start dropping. I would, of course, appreciate the shit out of that. But you can find us at We Don't Want a Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We do have a Discord up and running. If you guys would like to be a part of that and join the conversation, just shoot us a DM or an email, and we'll send you an invite link. That would be fantastic. For all you YouTube folks, you guys know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe. That does help the algorithm, helps us out a ton. And we'll see you guys next time. We love you guys. Bye.